Hello and good evening, Chicago. Welcome on in to another episode of Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Episode 60 of this show. Can you believe it? I'm not sure I can. And have we got the stuff to talk about? There is a new champion in the WNBA, and it's Chicago. For the first time ever, the Chicago Sky took down the WNBA crown. Candace Parker, Kahleah Copper, and the girls got the job done. We will be breaking that down, as well as discussing the Bulls season that is tipped off right now. They are in Detroit taking on the Pistons. We'll do some live look-ins there. And then throughout the night, too, of course, we'll be talking the Bears that break down against the Packers this past weekend. Do they have a new owner? And a preview ahead of Tom Brady and the defending champion Bucks. Not looking forward to that one, can say that for sure. And then there's a new development coming in minor league baseball next season that's going to be very interesting. We will be talking about housing situation and just what does it cost to be a minor league player. All that and more on Chi-Town Weekly. Buckle on up. Let's have some fun. And once again, welcome on into Chi-Town Weekly. I am your host, Adam Karnick. I am so glad that you are here to talk sports in the best sports city in the Midwest, heck, in the US of A. And lots to talk about tonight. As I said in the open, we've got a champion to discuss, the Chicago Sky. I love it. Taryn's in the chat already. All sky and no clouds. Very good. Very good on that one, Taryn. I like it. We will be discussing the Sky. We'll be talking the Bulls tonight. Lots of live look-ins with them. And, of course, it's the NFL season. Can't go without talking about the Bears. We will break down them as well. But before we get any further along, we, of course, have to talk about our sponsors here at IE Sports Radio. Starting with the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The Warriors dropped one to the Kings this weekend as they enter the final two games of the regular season at 4-4. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed, to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. Find them on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, Instagram at Southern California_Warriors, or Facebook by searching Southern California Warriors. And Background Check International Business. Are you looking to background check a new hire on? Let Kit Fremen take care of that for you. Kit founded and has managed Background Check International since 1994, and he's here to help you with the screening process. Contact Kit and let him help make the hiring process that much easier. This business is used for professional background checks and not for the use of any crimes, such as identity theft or any other illegal activity. Go to their website, bcint.com, or find them on Facebook by searching Background Check International-BCI. And IE Sports Radio is available on all the major platforms at IE Sports Radio, whether that's Twitter or Instagram, or just search IE Sports Radio in Facebook. And you can follow along with this show as well on Twitter at IESRC. You can follow along also with my personal Twitter feed at Adam_Karnik. And if you are listening live tonight on Spreaker, hop on into the chat room. It's free. You just make yourself a new login ID, and then you can hop in. Taryn, of course, is already there. And Marcus Los Great, what up, doe? He is in the chat room. He will be doing Gloves Off later tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central Time. So he will be talking all things boxing. Good evening, gentlemen. Before we get onto your guys' stuff, we will be doing some Chicago tonight. And thank you also earlier tonight for New York, the show that never sleeps. Pierre and Harrison doing their show tonight to kick off your Wednesday. All right. The Chicago Sky. Candace Parker came home in the offseason, and her goal, of course, was to bring a championship home with her. And in her first season, they got the job done. It wasn't maybe necessarily the path they thought they'd be going down. Just 16-16 in the regular season. Actually got off to an 0-7 start to the year. Parker was injured for some of that, but it ended the way you'd always want it to go. The Sky brought home the title, defeating the Phoenix Mercury in 4 games in the best-of-5 series. It is the first ever championship for the Chicago Sky in the WNBA. Just their second appearance in the finals. The first one was 2014, also against Phoenix. Phoenix got that one. Final score of Game 4 was 80-74. It was actually a comeback for the Sky in that game. Had to overcome some early stuff, but for the most part, the Sky dominated in that series. Took Game 1 very handily, absolutely destroyed Phoenix in Game 3. It was actually a record-setting margin of victory for a WNBA playoff game in Game 3. The only game that Phoenix, the Mercury, won was Game 2, and it required overtime. So could have very easily been a shorter series. Could have gone the distance as well had the Sky not been able to come back in Game 4 and pull away. I think, too, what was impressive was how filled Wintrust Arena was for the 2 games. Over 10,000 fans in both games. Game 3 was a sellout well in advance. I heard a funny anecdote about that one of the reporters went up to Candace Parker and informed her, hey, did you know that Game 3 is a sellout? Candace Parker didn't believe them. She got out her phone and tried to buy a ticket and realized, I can't buy a ticket. This game's a sellout. Well, this is pretty cool. This is great. And so the city showed up in droves, filled the arena. You could feel the energy there in the arena. You could feel it out in Phoenix as well. They had packed arenas out there in Phoenix for the 2 games out there as well. Just great turnout for it. Really good basketball over too. Very back and forth, good teams overall. And then, of course, the Sky winning it. And they got their parade yesterday, and it was a true parade. Candace Parker, when she had won championships out in LA, they had done different things for the team, but they hadn't been able to do a parade. They got a parade. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, actually, she's been a season ticket holder for the Sky since the Sky started. And she made sure, no, we're doing this right. We're going to do a parade. So it started at Wintrust, went to Millennium Park, had a terrific parade out there. Great moment for the team, and just a great moment in Chicago's first basketball championship from a professional team since 1998. the Jordan era Bulls. So a lot of history set over the weekend with the Sky, with basketball in the city. We will see what that turns into for the future for the Sky and the WNBA. The WNBA wrapping up its 25th season. We'll see what that means for involvement here in the city. But a great weekend from that. And now we get, as the Sky wrap up, we get the Bulls starting. Their first game of the season is going on actually right now. They are in Detroit taking on the Pistons with 3.5 minutes left in the first half. The Pistons are up 44-40. I'm pulling up the box score right now for the game to give you just a little bit of a taste of what's going on. Of course, the Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan era starting. Patrick Williams starting at power forward, taking over there for the Bulls. We're going to see there's a lot of optimism around the city for the Bulls this season. I heard earlier this week that there are a ton of bets coming in on the Bulls too, believe it or not only to win the division, obviously to make the playoffs, to make it all the way to the Eastern Conference Final, heck, all the way to the NBA Finals. That's a little premature in my book. I would not go that far yet with them, but hey, have some fun with it. It's legal to be throwing your money around like that and getting good odds. Go for it. So, taking a look at the Bulls right now, Lonzo Ball, his first game with the Bulls, 15 minutes, 1 of 4 from the floor, no free throws, so just the 2 points for him. Zach LaVine, 5 of 8 from the floor, including 1 of 2 from 3, 11 points for him. He is leading the Bulls. The Bulls just 3 points off the bench so far in the game. Those belong to Caruso. I got to remember what his first name is. Alex Caruso getting 3 points off the bench tonight. That's been it for the bench scoring for the Bulls so far, as they're almost to halftime. Actually, it is at halftime. 44-40, the Pistons on top of the Bulls. First half of the first game of the 2021-2022 season for the Bulls. And, well, not necessarily what you'd hope for, being outscored by the Pistons, a team that definitely does not have much in the way of playoff aspirations for this season. For the Pistons, they are being led in scoring. I want to get his first name in here. I'm looking on ESPN, and they've just got the last name and the first initial. Jeremy Grant is leading the Pistons with 13 points in the first half. So leading all scorers there in the first half. And looking at trying to find the minutes distribution here, it's not for a lack of playing time that the Bulls bench hasn't scored, and Caruso has played half the game to this point, 12 minutes. 2 other guys off the bench, both with 7 minutes. So you've had some opportunities for the bench to score, and the bench not scoring at all for the Bulls. That's a little concerning. Your starters have all scored at least 2 points. Lonzo Ball only 2 points. Everybody else, you're looking. Patrick Williams has 6. DeMar DeRozan with 8. Vucevic already with 10 points. LaVine with 11 points. Vucevic already has a double-double, and we're only at the first half. 10 points, 11 rebounds. So that's encouraging to see, because rebounding could be an issue for the Bulls this season. They're much more undersized this year than they have been in seasons past. So that's encouraging that for at least part of a game, at least they can have some success rebounding. Overall team numbers, trying to get, there we go. Team stats overall against the Pistons here in the first half. The Bulls shooting just under 41% from the floor. The Pistons only 37% from the floor. So having good result, forcing up bad shots. The Bulls 22% from three, the Pistons 21%. Bulls only 4 free throw attempts in the first half, only converted 2 of them. You'd like to get the line a little more than that. Hopefully that'll turn around in the second half. Bulls have out-rebounded the Pistons 26-25 overall. Bulls 10 turnovers, Pistons 6 turnovers in the first half. So fairly even game between the two teams, and it's reflected a little bit in the score there, 44-40 at the half. But the NBA is back. That's always fun, always good to see, and something new to just, as if October wasn't busy enough, here's one more to be keeping track of as we get going here. And we'll be keeping track of the Bulls throughout the night tonight during the show. But we are going to take a quick break real quick, and then when we come back, we've got to talk about the Bears-Packers from last week and then look ahead to Bears-Buccaneers. Do the Bears have a new owner? Yeah, we got to talk about those Aaron Rodgers comments too. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Hey, what's up, sports fans? You're looking for a different type of sports talk show, something you haven't heard before? You gotta check out the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday on 2 Live Stews Radio, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Sports talk at its finest. Always have great guests, playing some good hip-hop. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune in to the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Hey USRN fans, do you have a product or company you're trying to promote? Look no further. USRN is teaming up with small local businesses trying to establish themselves via online promotion. Let us know if you're interested. Email us at usrnradio@gmail.com to learn more.
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head primetime face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So while the Sky made Sunday an awesome day and night in the city celebrating a championship, they also took away some of the sting and the pain of yet another loss to the Packers. The Chicago Bears coming off of a well above average, well above expectations performance the week before in Vegas against the Raiders. I know my expectations shot up instantly after that win, and I knew it in my head that, this is probably too early. I'm asking too much of the Bears to beat the Packers in this game, in this week. But still, you felt like it could happen. You just felt like, Justin Fields, here we go. He's gonna take the mantle. This is hopefully the last time you see Rodgers coming into Soldier Field with that Green Bay uniform on. This might be a passing of the torch moment. And in reality, the Bears just aren't there yet. And that's, while it shouldn't have been surprising, anytime you're forced back to reality, it always hurts. And to come back to reality against that team again for the 22nd time in 27 games against Aaron Rodgers was just disheartening and frustrating. Of course, after the game, the comments that everybody wants to talk about was Aaron Rodgers when he scored the clinching touchdown. The field mics picked up him yelling into the stands at some of the fans that I still own you. He's not wrong. That's the really frustrating part of it too, is he's not wrong. Anytime the Bears play the Packers, you get the feeling that the other 21 players in the Packers uniforms that are going to be playing at any given moment just flat out don't matter. You could find a combination of 10 third stringers off of either the Packers roster or other miscellaneous rosters throughout the NFL and put Aaron Rodgers in at quarterback, and you'd still feel like somehow Rodgers would figure out a way to beat the Bears. So while I don't like hearing Rodgers say, I own you, I can't disagree with him. I heard Olin Kreutz's comments, the former Bears center, earlier this week on the radio. Said, "Yeah, I'd like to punch Aaron Rodgers in the mouth or in the face for saying that." And yeah, that's kind of all of our instant gut reaction is, "Oh, how dare you! That's not true. It can't possibly be true." And then I'm apparently going to quote Star Wars, so let's just go the whole way. Search your feelings, Bears fans. You know it to be true. Yes, which is why I can't wait for him to be gone. I don't care if he comes back and plays against the Bears next season with somebody else, so long as it's not in that green and yellow, so long as it's not in an NFC North jersey, I'm cool with it. As for the rest of the game, Justin Fields, he's got to learn a lot. He's got a lot of way to grow. There were things in that game, though, that looked really promising. The opening drive, in particular, was one of the best looking drives of the entire Matt Nagy era. The play call got in, they got up to the line crisply, cleanly. Everybody knew what their assignment was. The execution was good. They got right down the field, and lo and behold, they scored a touchdown. And they made it look professional. I hesitate to say easy, but compared to all the other times you watch the Bears play football, it looks like pulling teeth to get 5 yards. This way, it just looked seamless and practiced and polished. Professional was the best word I could come up with while watching that drive. And then you compare it to the next 2 quarters where, yes, they didn't have a 3 and out, but they were never able to consistently get a momentum, get into a rhythm, really get moving on offense. I know the first 15 or so plays get scripted by the offense so that you know what's coming. What I don't understand is once that script is done, why it became so hard for the Bears to move the ball. And I know some Bears fans want to say, well, the officiating wasn't very good. The officiating cost them in so many different ways, forms, fashions. Yes, the officiating was bad, but at the same time, that's not why they lost. The officiating was frustrating because going into the game, in order to beat the Packers, you need everything to line up and work seamlessly and smoothly, and you don't need any hiccups. And having bad officiating is just one more thing that you have to overcome. And that's not good. You don't want anything else to overcome. It's hard enough to overcome Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. You don't need any help from the guys in stripes. The most egregious, of course, was at the end of the second drive, the offsides call that got missed. Fields thought he had a free play, throws it up deep. It's intercepted in the back of the end zone, and it turns out, no, that's an interception. It's Packers ball. There's a couple of positives to take away from that, though. I love that Fields recognized that situation, that, hey, we got a guy to jump, and then I've got a free play. I want to take a shot here. There's no penalty for taking a shot here on this spot. He does need to make sure that the flag actually came out. I heard Boomer Esiason this week talk about that play, and he brought up that, yes, absolutely, the great quarterbacks, they do make sure that the flag comes out. The way he put it was, well, you know what happens when you assume, right? You never want to assume that the flag was thrown, and you can learn as a quarterback how to just check and look the field for that yellow flag before tossing up the free play. But I love that that's his instinct on that play. That's where his mind went. Hey, I've got a free shot. Let's go for broke, because the worst thing that happens is we accept the penalty, we move forward 5 yards, and we try it again. So I love that that's his instinct. That's something that Aaron Rodgers in particular has done throughout his career. He's been excellent at knowing we either got somebody to jump off sides or we got the play call off before an extra man got off the field for the defense, just recognizing when they've got a free play and taking a shot. He and Allen Robinson do need to get on the same page a little bit more. And in general, I think they need to work with the wide receivers and Justin Fields on their scramble drill or their free play drill, whatever they want to call it, so that everybody's on the same page there. Because there were two separate times when Fields decided to take a deep shot for one reason or another, and his wide receiver cut off the route before Fields thought he was going to. The first one, of course, was with Allen Robinson there on the free play that got intercepted, and then there was another one in the second quarter where Fields decided to just take a shot into the back of the end zone, and again his receiver cut the route off early, and the Packers safety, I believe it was Adrian Amos, very nearly came down with the interception. So they've got to work on that. I'm sure some of it from the wide receivers is they're still used to Andy Dalton, who doesn't throw the ball deep, or even going back further than that, Mitchell Trubisky or Nick Foles, guys who traditionally didn't take deep shots, or if they did take deep shots, they didn't connect on them. So from the receiver standpoint, there's no reason to keep running because the guy's not going to throw it that far. Fields wants to throw it that far and can throw it that far accurately. So that's something they need to work on there with that. I'm checking it in the chat. I was having Taryn do a little bit of sound check for me. He missed it. He's learning how to iron. Don't burn your shirt. Do not burn your shirt. And please, Taryn, use the iron board. Don't just iron while like wearing the shirt or something like that. That never ends well. And then he's asking, should I get Khalil Herbert for my fantasy roster, or will Damian Williams be back this week? Well, let's use that then as the moving point for the game coming up this week. First of all, I would not expect Damian Williams to be back this week. For those that hadn't heard, Damian Williams missed the past game due to COVID. He tested positive for COVID, and apparently he is not vaccinated. So he has to wait a couple of weeks to get through the protocols and get healthy and get back again. So I would absolutely, if you can get Khalil Herbert, do it. Herbert looked impressive against the Packers, 124 yards of offense between his rushing and his receiving, and he just looked like a very easy fit in the offense. Now, I will say for this week, for this game, I'm not sure I would get Khalil Herbert. Maybe if you can get him and afford to stash him on your bench in a fantasy perspective, do it. Because Montgomery's not going to be back for a little bit yet either, so Herbert will have some time. But for this week against the Buccaneers have the best running defense in the NFL. Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh are tough to run against. Nobody has had success against them. I would expect the Bears to try, but I won't expect the Bears to have success. So if you can get from a fantasy perspective, if you can get Herbert and afford to keep him on your bench for this week, go ahead and do it. If you need somebody that you've got to play this week to try and cover a bye week or cover an injury or something like that, you're probably going to find some better options out there than Herbert, because I would expect this week Herbert's not going to be a great play. He's going to get touches, but he's not really going to get the yards. He's not going to get the production that you'd hope from a starting running back in fantasy. That leads to this game in particular for the Bears. Boy, out of the frying pan and into the fire, right? You go from one future Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers to another future Hall of Fame quarterback in Tom Brady, and a team overall that I think is better suited for success this season as a whole in Tampa Bay. Of course, the Bears beat the Bucs last year in that Thursday night Nick Foles game. Brady, of course, infamously forgot what down it was on a fourth down pass attempt. I somehow suspect he won't make that same mistake twice. I also suspect he's probably remembering that game and may have something special in mind for the Bears for this year's game. Oh, and Taryn asking, so basically Herbert's a pass. If you need somebody to play this week, yes, Herbert's a pass. If you're looking to retool your roster a little bit and can afford to stash him on the bench for a week, go ahead and grab Herbert. But yeah, if you need somebody to play this week, pass on Herbert. For this week, looking at the Bears-Bucs game, unfortunately, this game just doesn't line up very well for the Bears in that their weaknesses go up against the Buccaneers' strengths, especially the Bears' defense. The way you need to beat Tom Brady, if they can get a consistent pass rush without blitzing, which the Bears have done a great job of that this season. They're actually leading the league in sacks, 21 sacks through the first 6 games. Khalil Herbert and Robert Quinn have been outstanding in that regard. However, Khalil Mack is still injured, and Robert Quinn just got put on the COVID list. Now, it's possible that Quinn could play. Quinn has been vaccinated, and the difference there between himself and, say, somebody like Damian Williams is as long as Quinn is not showing symptoms and has 2 negative tests within 24 hours of the game, he can play. He can get out there. He can go. Whereas Williams has got to go through a longer process since he's not vaccinated. Well, I don't want to get into the vaccinate versus not vaccinate. Suffice to say that it's very possible that Damian Williams will lose his job and his role with the Bears because he decided not to get a free shot in the arm. I'm going to move on from there and get back to the game itself. If Robert Quinn can't go, Khalil Mack is still hobbled, And if Akeem Hicks is still hobbled and banged up a little bit, and we saw that on his sack this past week where he got to Rodgers, got up and wanted to celebrate, and immediately felt that, oh, nope, I've still got something there in the groin area. I'm not good. This game could get very bad very fast for the Bears because the Bears' secondary is a problem outside of Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson has been excellent. He's been a terrific corner this season for the Bears. We saw it last week against the Packers where you thought, well, they have Devontae Adams and nobody else at wide receiver. They can afford to put Johnson on Devontae Adams and see what that does. Well, Aaron Rodgers went to Alan Lazard. He went to some of the other, was it Robert Tonyan, his tight end. Basically, anybody that Jalen Johnson wasn't covering was who he targeted because he felt like they had an advantage there. The Buccaneers have 3 outstanding wide receivers. Chris Godwin's, Mike Evans, and Antonio Brown. Obviously, Jalen Johnson can only cover one of those 3 guys at a time. That means Kendall Vildor and Duke Shelley are going to have to take the other 2. That's going to be a huge mismatch in the Buccaneers' favor all game long on Sunday. So this is a case where the Buccaneers' strength lines up perfectly for them against a Bears' weakness. This could be a long game on Sunday. Couple that with the Bucs being the best running defense in the NFL, that negates the Bears' running attack, which has been good, which is top 10 in the NFL. It's going to rely the Bears' passing attack to provide the bulk of the offense. The Bears still have the worst passing offense in the NFL going into this week. So even though the Bucs' pass defense is statistically the worst in the NFL and they are weak in their secondary, I don't see this one going well for the Bears. As Taryn points out in the chat, the Bears defense is really going to have to step up. It's going to come down to, can they generate a consistent pass rush with just 4 rushers? If they have to blitz, Brady will tear them apart. Even if they don't blitz, Brady still might tear them apart. But if they have to resort to blitzing to get pressure on Brady, that's going to be a problem. And then offensively, they've got to consistently move the ball. And this week, it's got to be through the air. You've got to have Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson. You've got to have those guys have terrific games, and you've got to have somebody, Cole Kmet, Jimmy Graham. My God, he has 1 catch so far this season. He's getting paid a ton of money to only have 1 catch so far. Damiere Byrd, Marcus Godwin. Somebody's got to step up and start consistently providing some options for Justin Fields. And Fields has got to step up too. He's got to take a step here. You're going up against one of the greatest of all time. Just like last week against Rodgers, maybe not necessarily go toe-to-toe with the guy, but take another step forward in the development of Justin Fields. So we'll see how this week's go. I don't have my hopes up for a Bears win. They could surprise me. They could absolutely surprise me. They beat them last year. They are literally the exact same team as they were a year ago, with the exception of Richard Sherman is in the secondary out of necessity more than they intended to have him on the roster at the start of the year. Otherwise, they're the same team as they were a year ago, and they beat them a year ago. So we'll see how it goes on Sunday. All right, we are going to take one more quick break, and then when we come out, we're going to talk about minor league baseball. There was a story that came out this week that is huge for minor league baseball players, and I think just good for the sport of baseball as a whole. We will be talking about that next. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey guys, it's Blake Henley, better known as H-Town Blake to some of you. Happy to announce that Bases Loaded is back in full force. We'll be bringing that high heat every Tuesday night here on IE Sports Radio. So come home, get ready, dig into that batter's box, and see if you can chase that high heat, baby. So we'll be coming to you live with all the stats, all the rundowns, all the division rivalries, and every team that's going to make the playoff push to get to that one and only October and get to the pinnacle of what baseball is, to hoist that Commissioner's Trophy when it's all said and done.
Attention, all sports fans! If you're someone who wakes up each morning with a list of sporting events to go along with your to-do list for the day, then you just might be a diehard. The world of sports is as vast as the ocean is deep, including the major leagues, the minor leagues, the colleges, and everything in between. This is me, your boy Larry B of IE Sports Radio, welcoming you to join me every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Defining Moment, a show that focuses on what really matters in the sports world, sports themselves, and nothing outside of them. Once again, tune in for The Defining Moment with me, your boy Larry B, every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on IE Sports Radio, right here on Spreaker.com. We'll see you there.
What is going on, everybody? This is Ben Matello, the host of the Yinza Report, right here on IE Sports Radio. I'm bringing you the latest in the Steel City, the City of Champions, from the Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, as well as the college game with both Penn State and Pitt. You could join me every Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, where I'll be talking about everything from the Steel City, the City of Champions, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Oh, I mentioned earlier tonight that I've been playing with some of the settings for doing this show to try to make the audio work a little bit better, and as a result, I've been able to use my headphones that I got as a gift specifically for doing this show. Oh my gosh, those drops, they come in so much cleaner. And Marcus, I already loved the music that you use for your show. It sounds even better with a good pair of headphones on. I am ready to go now, man. That's good stuff there. Anyway, all right, now I have to get settled back in and finish out the show here. Before we get any further, one last shout out to our sponsors again. The Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. Find them on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, Instagram at Southern California_Warriors, or Facebook by searching Southern California Warriors. And then background check international business. Are you looking to buy let's try that again. Are you looking to background check a new hire on? Let Kit Fremen take care of that for you. Kit founded and has managed Background Check International since 1994, and he's here to help you with the screening process. Contact Kit and let him help make the hiring process that much easier. This business is used for professional background checks and not for the use of any crimes, such as identity theft or any other illegal activity. Go to their website, bcint.com, or find them on Facebook, Background Check International-BCI. And Taryn popping back into the chat comments that Sherman is going to be out with a hamstring injury. Okay, I had seen that he had gotten injured last week against the Eagles. I was actually doing a call with Seth Eves over on USRN of their game when Sherman got hurt. I did not see that it had been enough to keep him out for this week. Hopefully that'll help the Bears for this week, but we'll see. We'll see. That secondary did surprisingly well, the Tampa secondary there. it's the worst pass defense in the NFL, but part of that is because they've got the best run defense. A lot of teams just decide it's not worth the trouble to try and run, so they get 75% or more of their yardage every week against the passing attack as opposed to even trying to run the ball. So those numbers are a little skewed there. And yes, everybody does love Marcus's theme. Just being able to hear it as in depth with the headphones on just made it took it from 10 to 11 to quote another movie there. It just went right up to 11, and I love it. So for our last topic for tonight, we want to talk about some minor league baseball. Obviously, we talk a bit about all sports here. We have Southern California Warriors as one of our sponsors every week. It's huge that Major League Baseball, starting next season, is going to be providing housing for their minor league players. It's a very small step overall towards fixing the problem with the minor leagues as a whole, where effectively in minor league baseball, you are treated as an indentured servant until you make it into the big leagues. But this is a good start. It's a great start. All 30 teams starting next year will be providing housing for their players. What does that mean? Well, beforehand, players were on their own. It was not uncommon that you'd have 4 or 6 or sometimes even more minor league players renting out a studio or a one-bedroom apartment because it was the only way they could afford to do it. Or you'd have guys just sleeping at the stadium, sleeping in their cars, what have you. Obviously, if for nothing else, that's going to affect their play on the field, but it's also going to affect their well-being as a whole, as people, as individuals, mental health, all that gets affected. This is a great start by Major League Baseball. It's not enough. I'm looking at the clock and realizing, oh my goodness, where did the time go? We will talk about this some more, but it is a great, great start by Major League Baseball. All right. That does it for our show for this week. Be sure to stick around. Coming up next, we've got Beantown Brandon. He's going to be doing Titletown Sports, talking all things Boston. The Red Sox got absolutely destroyed tonight in the American League Championship Series against the Houston Astros. I'm sure he'll be breaking down that game tonight, talking about the series as a whole. The Boston Bruins are also playing tonight, their second game of the season, so we might be talking about that. We will see. All that and more, so stick around for Brandon coming up right after us tonight here on IE Sports Radio. I want to say thank you again to our sponsors, the Southern California Warriors, Background Check International Business, for continuing to sponsor us every single week here on IE Sports Radio. We really do appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who's in the chat, Taryn and Marcus for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you to Larry for everything that he does here at IE Sports Radio week in and week out to keep us going, keep the lights on, all those good important things. And finally, thank you for continuing to come and listen to me every single week, whether it's live or as a podcast. I really do appreciate it. Everybody take care, stay safe. We will see you next week. Let's have some fun. Hopefully we'll be talking good things about the Bears. We'll have more Bulls. We'll even get into the Blackhawks, I guess, if we have to next week. All that and more. Until then, this is Adam Karnick for IE Sports Radio, signing off.